episode 3, and I want to tell you really why I don't like this anime. Like, you have several issues, but first and foremost, we in this anime, this episode, we couldn't get the sheet before she told us the sheet. So I went back and I looked in episode 2, because she mentioned that, oh, look at this hand, like, you couldn't even see that. I'm not talking about like how I dislike the whole game and so on, but let's just look at this thing first. I think that really shows you why this anime isn't very good. And people are gonna say, oh, but your face, but no, it isn't a good gambling anime. It's a horrible gambling anime. It's a kind of weird fetish ecchi hentai anime. If anything, it's not like good gambling anime. And I love gambling anime, so I want this to be good. Look at the image here. Look at the image here. So first of all, you have this thing, right? And this is her hand of the actual dealer. Look at this hand here. Like, her hand, the hand is just, the angle is just above, right? Because her magnets are here, right, on her hand. And this is an actual image from the episode, and this is like, you cut it right under that, so we couldn't see we could not see those magnets. So that is like, oh, to make suspension of that I think is horrible. I think that is horrible, because we as the viewer, if you look at like a thriller, anime or movie, right, or whatever, right, or a detective show or something, or random Criminal Minds, Law and Order, those kind of TV shows. You watch a TV show, you want to watch and say, that guy's gonna be the killer because he said this and this, that is probably a lie. You want to be able to say that, right? So you have about, usually around 30 minutes of Law and Order to figure out, half the episode or so, who's the killer is, right? Or whatever crime is done. And Criminal Minds, you usually have maybe like 40 minutes, depending on how it is, and so on, right? So you have this kind of time frame where you yourself can build who the person is, what the connection is. And this here, like, they literally cut off her hand like that on purpose, right? So we couldn't see the magnets. So as the viewer, you have zero chance to say, as the viewer, you say that, okay, obviously they're cheating together because the dealer / croupier, she's working with the host. Obviously they're cheating. It's very, very obvious. But we don't know how, because you can't even see the magnets because they cut that away. So that I think is ridiculous. I think that's silly. I think this is ridiculous. Really, really silly. But yeah, this is how she's introduced. The house host or whatever, the person there, the entrance the door, right? So you see here, this is actually image we have. They have her like up here, right? The camera is here, pretty much on her neck. And then the next image, this is from this episode. Then suddenly it's the same image, but it's showing her way down, right? Then you see her hand, and you can see nothing in her hand. This is from when she's Yumiko is talking about seeing her. And also if you look at her before, you also this image, episode 2. So just from that alone, like, there's no chance to also see her. Like, if you go back to 2 that I did, you see those images there. You see her from the very distance, and you see her face, right? So there's no chance for us, for me or you, to figure out that, okay, what are those knots? What are those in her hand, right? But then in episode 3, after the main character tells you, I know you shouldn't have math in your hands, then we see like an altered version of episode 2, where suddenly we can see more of her body and we can see her hands. So it's like, that I think is, again, extremely silly. So we as the viewer has no chance to actually figure out the actual sheet. It's very easy to say, okay, you obviously have some kind of sheet together, like that's very clear, but we can't even do it, and I really dislike that. So it's because everyone is cheating, right? Everyone is cheating in this anime. They're all cheating, so what can we as the viewer say? Well, okay, how is the sheet? Like last week, I pretty much figured out exactly before she told her, okay, it's her deck, she probably has marking, or using her nails as marking on her own cards. She probably knows the order of the card, blah, blah, because it's like, I was spot on how it worked. I was like, almost just exactly how it worked. Right, and that feels really good, because you want to be a detective, you want to figure out the plan, and usually, most detective shows and so on, right, police shows, they have that, right, but they kind of show you some clues every now and then, so we can figure out, okay, who is the person that done it. This is the same thing if you go to gambling anime and they're cheating, because no one so far is actually good at gambling, they're just cheating and everything. Then you want to figure out, okay, what is the cheat, right? So you want to have some clues to it. This anime purposely cut away clues, right, that we could have had, that we actually should have seen the clues. That means that the main character has knowledge that we don't even have, yeah. So we can't be faster than her. We can't figure out, because we don't have that knowledge. They don't put away, right? And we get knowledge after she has solved it. So it's really boring. It's really, really boring. It means I cannot figure it out. I can almost figure it out because I have the other clues, but like I have the other clues. I think it's really, really bad, to be honest. Really weak. Anyway, that's the biggest issue. Second biggest issue is the game in itself. This game is stupid, like seriously. The game is like roulette. If it's like roulette, pretty decent. Roulette. I worked at roulette tables, by the way, and roulette tables has you can bet on color, you can bet on different rows, columns, you can bet on lines, you can bet on like different numbers. You should bet on zero because zero has no color, zero is green, instead of black and red, and so on. So the numbers actually have different probability, and you can bet like distance. You can bet on like 14, 13, is it 13, 14, 15, right? In one row, you can bet like columns. You can also bet between the numbers, right? So you can bet like at 4 numbers, but putting it in the corners and so on. And you have a lot of different disparity, different probabilities, so on, right? This game didn't have that. This game was like a roulette, but it was worse. Like you had roulette, but you only had the single-digit numbers you could put on it. Or I mean, if you want to put on one number, you couldn't put on like 2 numbers. You could do this, of course, 2 different piles, but you couldn't say I want to bet on all these numbers, and so on. Because Seppelt started out saying, oh, this shape is like this, so this numbers here are the less chance of happening. Okay, then you want to bet maybe like this, instead of this, and so on. Right? So you couldn't do this. It's like a roulette table, but less advanced. It's like a stupid version of roulette, kind of. Yeah, I was like, huh? That's a minus, absolutely a minus. The game was very simple. Second minus, of course, is that it's again like this is our own game. It's like, okay, that is weak for me because I wanna learn something. I wanna learn people how they trick people, how they cheat, right? I wanna go and say, okay, I'm gonna go to the roulette table tomorrow, and hopefully this anime give me some tips how to like spot a cheater or blah blah so right. But no. They have their own game, and then they have to really sell that game to you. It's really like this is a really cool game because of this. But they didn't, right? And the game also, one big thing is that the gaming itself was really short. Like the gaming was just for a few minutes, and the half episode was just like like just different weird faces, right? And like we see in the end there, when there's those 3 kind of bitches girls come there like you lost, yeah, and so on, right? And then she's like, my kitten, yeah, like that half this anime, right? Like this anime is just logical for a second if you ask me. It's not so logical, and it's not a gambling anime because they don't even play the games. They're like, oh, here's a game that I made yesterday, and I'm cheating in it. It's my game, so I'm just completely cheating in it. Like I have no skills in this game, so it's completely cheating. But okay, like yeah, it is boring. I want them to be good at the freaking games. I want them to be, okay, this is this game, and I mastered this game. I played this game for hundreds of hours. I mastered it, and I'm cheating. I want that thing. And I want like, yeah, this is a luck-based game, but I also cheat in it, so I win. Like, it's like, okay, yeah, well, how fun, right there. They don't have the skills so far. I don't have the skills. And she herself is like, oh, I understand everything's happening, but this is the luck-based, so I can't just win anyway. It's like, okay. First of all, I probably play more skill-based games to begin with. In this game, I think, yeah, they should play more skill-based games, if anything. But also, it's like, this is so weird, this anime, because they have 0 tension when they play the game. First of all, you don't know how much money has to on, but they also 0 tension when they actually play the game. Think about it. If you look at, and I say it all the time because I love this anime. I love Akagi, I love Kaiji, and I love one else so on. But if you look at Akagi example, and they play Mahjong, and they're like, if I take this brick here, but if he does this thing, then I'm gonna lose the money. And like they have this kind of inner monologues, and like, shit, this is, shit, I'm gonna put my, like I wanna lose my finger if I play this the wrong. If he runs me now, I'm gonna lose my finger, right? They have this like, oh shit. You have the tension, but also you have this logical. You have that mental pressure on the main character or the other characters. Also the opponent sometimes like, oh shit, he's gonna do this thing. So you have that thing, right? You have the kind of the constant mental struggle right between them. This anime has 0 feel for that, and I really like that. This anime, you like, the see be like, all money, yeah. And like, I wanna hear her mind, I wanna hear her inner monologue. Before she's like, all in, bitch. Like, I want to hear her before and say, like, she's clearly cheating with this thing. Well then. All in, Yeah, I want to hear that thing. Right? I want to hear that thing. Before, probably. But also, yeah, there's no tension really for her. She's just playing crazy. So, I guess, but still, right? You want to hear that thing. That's what gives you that psychological gambling thing. Where they also like, oh shit, how should I do now? And so on. So that's weird too. We don't have that for neither of the players. That's also weird. But generally, I really irritated. They just like, so okay, so we couldn't solve it because we didn't even see those things. They cut us away, like clearly intentionally, so we couldn't see it. But also mainly then, like, what are they playing? Like they're playing something random they made up yesterday, And that game isn't very advanced. It's like a cheaper version of roulette, and the opponent isn't even good at it. They're like, oh, I'm cheating. And like the problem here is the exact problem as last week as well, though, that this person shouldn't even be this powerful in the ranking of the school, because how does she win before this, right? How did she win before this? I had a problem with this last week, because it was like, oh, the opponent had her own card decks. So if I played her, I'd be like, well, you can play this memory card, but have to use my deck, right? Yeah, I would never agree to use her deck from the beginning. That's just stupid. And so she could never really beat people, because she had to move around, I suppose, to get her like positioning, to give it right. And how would she do that? I mean, both of them, but especially even with the memory team, because that's like, you go to this next class and say, oh, let's play this game, and they're like, yeah, sure, we already played this game, you want to join in? And they have their own cards. What would you do then, right? So last week already, it was kind of weird how she would beat people if she has to use her own card decks all the time, right? That was kind of weird. But this is even worse. This is way worse. This person only wins because all her pets, or like her own house pets, pretty much, right? They all have like pierced magnets into their hands, right? So she needs them to cheat, and this game is really a kind of silly game too. So it's like, how did she become in this position now? This is really stupid, right? How did she get there? Because so far she has zero skill. She has purely cheating, right? She has no skill in the actual game. She didn't do like, oh, the mathematical chance of this 4 are this, and this, and with our cheat, this and this is higher, right? She didn't do like, well, the highest probability based on the board and feed and so on, it's like 5 to 10, and then with our cheat, that eliminates like the lower size of it, like 5 and 10. So the actual only answer is like 6 to 9 instead. So I bet on those 3 numbers, or I mean 6, 7, 8, 9, 4 numbers, or something like that. Or 8 is over here because of this. But 8 is actually not there because you put this weird table thing. So the actual numbers are 6, 7, 9 or something. And like, so also a combination of probability with cheating and so on. That's why I put those 3 numbers and win all the time. That would be interesting. Something like that. Well, it's so interesting. But like something like that. But no. She's like, oh, we're cheating. So this is what I can put. Right? But how did she then beat people before this? How did she become stronger like last year? She's like second year, right? How did she get into position if she needs to have her own place? And see what I mean? So this is like giving the opponent here, the evil this character, she has got in a position, and that's just like ignore, right? How she got there, because she doesn't have no skills so far. So we have to just assume she got there, and by cheating them, but then she has to use other cheats, because this cheat here, or she needs to already be in power, right? This cheat only works if you already are in the power of a system, right? So how should she get there? So that's also really irritating. When you watch other animes with similar kind of plot and so on, right? Those people that are, oh yeah, I'm just like, for example, Kaiji then. In Kaiji, the end of season 1, right? He faces like the leader of this kind of people. I don't want to spoil, but he faces kind of the leader of this kind of evil crew pretty much. And that guy is like, yeah, you can beat me, boy. He's like an old guy, right? But he's like, you know, the battle and so on. And that old guy, he's a damn good cheater and a damn good player. He's like 60, 75, you know, whatever, right? But he's like, I have played, you know, games for like 50 years, right? Yeah, he's a freaking pro, right? He's the best guy they have. He didn't get to the top of their evil team thing without being the best, right? So can you face this guy? He's like cheating everything. He's really good, right? It's like, it's like, oh, I saw your sheet, so I cheated this sheet instead to beat your sheet. And he has that kind of thing going for him, like, yeah. He's like, I knew you were gonna cheat, boy, because you cheated this, but I've seen it before 10 times. I did this sheet that, like, diffused your sheet, or that kind of thing going for it, right? But that makes complete sense, but he's like super old, experienced, master of these games, right? He didn't get to the power level, and, you know, have that thing, right? And yes, he does cheats all the time as well, but because everyone cheats as well. But, yeah, like, she is some kind of half. She's in the council, she's stronger than everyone else at the council members, right? They helped her in the end, of course, but it's like, why didn't she have some actual skill, right? She has to beat 100 people to get to that power, you have to assume, and her only shit is, I have to use my companions next to me. So it's like, that is silly. So anyway, yeah, I don't get the anime. I guess people use like, oh, I want to watch this like hentai faces or something. That's the only thing I get from this anime. Like, it's like, just this episode. But you couldn't beat the sheet, you couldn't figure it out because it cut away, and the game was so short, right? And she started freaking out after like half the episode. It's like, oh, you show me now. Like, yeah, the half episode was really silly, so they didn't have like much of the game anyway. They only played for like a few minutes, and the game wasn't very good. And it was their own game, so obviously they were sitting in their own game. It's like, come on, really? Can I go to that school and say I made its own game? And I always started it, and you bet these numbers. Oh, I won because I started. Like, it feels like you could make your own game. You'd be like, we can play my game here, and I can't lose in it because I cheat all the time, right? Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. It feels like I'm gonna get this anime next week. After that, I will give it like a full review and probably give it a bad score, a really bad score. But I think next week will really show you if it's good enough, because Netflix has to be like beat at least. Now she's in the bottom, but there's no tension for it, which also is bad. Her character is a bad character, I think. She's a nutcase, and there's no like relatable traits to her at all. But yeah, we'll see how she can beat it up. Maybe next week can be good if she can like conquer upwards now, right? It might be a little more interesting. So anyway, see you next week, and have a great day.